Imagine if everything in your life seemed to be crumbling at once: overdue bills, mounting debts, and a future that looks increasingly bleak. That's exactly how Sarah, at 38 years old, found herself trapped in a desperate cycle until a simple video appeared in her life and changed everything. Get ready for an exciting journey, full of challenges, discoveries, and a twist you won't believe. Before we begin, please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more inspiring stories like this one. Stay until the end. This story might transform the way you see your own life. I will never forget that cold January morning. Sitting in my small kitchen, with a cup of coffee already cold, I stared at the screen of my phone showing a negative balance of $347.82. My hands trembled, not only from the cold seeping through the gaps of the poorly sealed window but from the weight of the reality that suffocated me. "Sarah, you need to fix this," I murmured to myself as I organized the bills into small piles: urgent, very urgent, and desperately urgent. The overdue rent was at the top of the last pile, along with a yellow notification warning me about a possible eviction. My neighbor, Rose, knocked on the door at that moment. She always showed up with her gentle smile and some excuse to check if I was okay. "I brought some of that apple pie you like," she said, placing a covered plate on the table. "Rose, you didn't have to," I replied, trying to hide the scattered bills. "Sarah, dear, you look exhausted. Is everything okay?" I swallowed hard, feeling the tears welling up. "Honestly? No. Nothing is okay. I've been working as an administrative assistant for 15 years, and I can barely pay the bills. The divorce wiped out my savings, and now..." My voice faltered. Rose sat down next to me, holding my hands. "Do you remember this photo?" she asked, pointing to a picture frame on the shelf. "It was me, 5 years ago, smiling in front of my old house." "It feels like another life," I whispered, remembering how everything changed after Mark filed for divorce. "Sometimes I wonder where I went wrong, you know. I'm 38, and it feels like I'm starting from scratch again." The old heater made a strange noise and stopped working. For the third time that week. "Great," I muttered, getting up to hit the appliance. "One more thing to fix with money I don't have." "Why don't you ask your family for help?" Rose gently suggested. "I can't. After the divorce, I promised myself I would be independent. Besides, my parents have their own financial issues." I looked out the window, seeing the first snowflakes fall. Winter had barely begun, and I already felt defeated. My job as an administrative assistant at the accounting firm didn't pay enough, and the overtime never seemed to make a difference at the end of the month. "You know what's worse, Rose? It's this feeling of being trapped in an endless cycle. I wake up, work, pay bills, and I'm still always in the red. Sometimes I wonder if there's more to life than this constant struggle." Rose gently squeezed my shoulder before leaving hanging a question that would keep pounding in my mind: what if there was a way to change all of this? That night, after a particularly exhausting day at work, I curled up on the old sofa in the living room with my laptop on my lap. The heater still wasn't working, so I covered myself with 2 blankets while aimlessly scrolling through social media. Another wasted day, I thought, scrolling through the timeline without really paying attention. That's when a video started playing automatically. A woman in her mid-40s smiled at the camera with a confidence that intrigued me. 2 years ago, I was broke, depressed, and hopeless, she began. Something in her voice made me stop. But I discovered something that completely changed my life: the law of attraction. "Oh, no," I rolled my eyes. "Here comes another internet guru." My finger hovered over the skip button, but something stopped me. I know what you're thinking, she continued, as if she could see me through the screen. That this is just another one of those miracle promises, right? I thought the same. I settled more comfortably on the sofa, paying closer attention. The secret isn't in wishing for wealth, she explained. It's in aligning your thoughts with what you want to manifest. I started writing every day as if I had already achieved my goals. At first, it felt ridiculous. At that moment, my phone vibrated. It was a message from the bank, "Your balance is negative." I felt a knot in my stomach but kept watching. "The truth is that you attract what you focus on," the woman said. "If you spend the day thinking about debts, you'll attract more debts," I finished aloud, feeling a shiver. I grabbed an old notebook from the drawer and started jotting down notes as she explained the process: visualization, gratitude, daily writing. It seemed too simple. "Sarah?" Rose's voice came from the door. I hadn't realized she had come in. "Are you okay? I heard you talking to yourself." "Rose, do you believe in this law of attraction stuff?" I asked, still absorbing the information. She sat down next to me. "You know, my sister started practicing this a few months ago. She managed to get out of debt and—" "But is it really possible?" I interrupted. "It sounds too magical." Rose smiled. "What if it's true? What do you have to lose by trying?" I looked at the notebook in my hands, then at the bills on the kitchen table. "Nothing," I replied softly. "I have nothing left to lose." That night, before going to bed, I wrote my first affirmation: "I deserve abundance in my life." The words felt strange, almost false, but something inside me had shifted. A small seed of hope was beginning to sprout. It had been a week since I discovered the law of attraction, and that morning started like all the others, with the annoying noise of the alarm clock and the weight in my chest. I sat on the edge of the bed, looking at the new notebook I had bought specifically for affirmations. "Come on, Sarah," I murmured to myself. "You can do this." I opened to a blank page and wrote, "I am prosperous. Money flows easily to me." Immediately, a voice inside my head mocked, "Who do you think you're fooling? Look at your bank statement." I slammed the notebook shut. The phone rang. It was the building manager. "Miss Sarah, about the overdue rent." "I know, I'm sorry," I replied, feeling my face burn. "I promise by Friday." At work, things didn't get better. I tried to maintain positive thoughts, but every mistake I made seemed to scream that I was a failure. "Sarah, these reports have errors again," my boss commented, leaving a pile of papers on my desk. "Redo everything by the end of the day." During lunch, Rose noticed my discouragement. "How's that manifestation thing going?" she asked, sitting down with me in the cafeteria. "It's nonsense," I replied, listlessly stirring my salad. "I've been writing affirmations like an idiot, but look at my life, it's still the same crap." "How long have you been practicing?" "A few days," I admitted, embarrassed. "And you expected to change your entire reality in a few days?" she asked, raising an eyebrow. "No, but—" I hesitated. "It just feels so fake. I write that I am prosperous, but my account is negative. How can I not feel like a liar?" "Sarah," Rose held my hand, "you're not lying. You're creating your new reality. It's different." That night, I faced the notebook again. Bills were piling up on the table, and fear tightened my chest. I picked up the pen, hesitated, then wrote, "Even with fear, I choose to believe in myself." The phrase seemed small and insignificant in the face of my problems. But it was true, perhaps the first truly honest affirmation I had written. It wasn't about money or success. It was about courage. One step at a time, I whispered to myself. Even if it's hard. Even if it seems impossible. I was sitting at the bus stop, old headphones in my ears, trying to ignore the light rain falling. My favorite finance podcast started playing a different episode, Manifestation Through Scripting. The secret isn't just writing down your desires, the guest, a neuro-linguistic programming expert, explained. It's emotionally connecting with every word. I took my crumpled notebook out of my bag and started taking notes as he continued. Imagine you're writing the script of your life. Be specific. What time do you wake up? What does your breakfast look like? How much money is in your account? An older lady sat next to me on the bench. Are you studying, dear? More or less, I replied, smiling shyly. I'm learning about how to change my life. She looked at my notes. You know, it reminds me of when I was younger. I used to write my dreams in a notebook. People thought it was silly, but did it work? I asked, suddenly interested. Let's just say that young cleaning lady now owns 3 laundromats, she winked. Keep writing, dear. On the bus, I continued listening to the podcast. The expert explained the technique in detail, right in the present. Not, I will have, but, I have. Use all your senses. How do you feel? What do you see? What do you hear? After work, I stopped at a small stationery store. Can I help you? The clerk asked. I want a new notebook, I replied. A special one. I chose one with a navy blue cover. It wasn't expensive, but it was pretty. At home, I sat at the kitchen table and opened to the first page. Today is Monday, 6:30 a.m., I wrote. I wake up refreshed in my warm bed. My breakfast is prepared, and I have time to savor it before heading to my new job as a project manager. My bank account shows a positive balance of $5,000. What are you doing? My younger sister asked, peeking over my shoulder. I'm writing my future, I replied, surprising myself with the conviction in my voice. And this time, I'm going to do it right. I continued writing, page after page, detailing every aspect of the life I desired. For the first time, it didn't feel like a lie, it felt like a plan, a script waiting to be filmed. Each word is a brick, I thought, remembering the podcast. I'm building my new reality, one sentence at a time. 3 weeks passed since I started scripting. That morning, something felt different. Instead of the usual, ugh, another day, I caught myself thinking, okay, what can I learn today? During the team meeting, Mike, a colleague who barely spoke to me, approached my computer. Sarah, I noticed you're different, he commented. More focused? I smiled, surprised by the comment. Yeah, I'm trying to see things differently. You know, there's a free online course that changed my financial life, he said, sending a link through the chat. I thought you might be interested. That night, after work, I dedicated myself to the course. I learned about small changes that make a difference, canceling unnecessary subscriptions, making shopping lists, using discount apps. Wow, you're cooking. My sister asked, surprised to see me preparing meals for the week. Yeah, I'm going to save about $200 a month just on lunch, I replied, proud. And you know what's crazier? I'm even enjoying it. By the end of the first week of changes, I opened my banking app. For the first time in months, I hadn't spent more than I earned. It's just a $50 difference, I thought. But it's a positive $50. That afternoon, while organizing spreadsheets at work, I received an email that made my heart race. "Dear Sarah, your resume caught our attention." "Rose," I whispered, rushing to her desk. "Look at this." It was an interview for a larger company. The salary? $500 more than I was making. But how did they find my resume? I asked, confused. "Remember when I helped you update your LinkedIn last month?" Rose smiled. "Things are connecting, aren't they?" On the way home, I grabbed my blue notebook. Rereading my old notes, I realized that some things I had written were starting to happen, not exactly as I imagined, but in unexpected and real ways. "Dear Diary," I wrote, "today I realized that change is not about big miracles. It's about small steps, daily choices, and, most importantly, about changing the way we see things." I looked at my bank account. It was still tight, but for the first time in a long time, there was a plan, a direction. And more importantly, there was hope. The old Sarah would have given up in the first week, I thought, closing the notebook with a smile. But this new version of me? She's just getting started. It was on a regular Saturday morning that everything changed. I was doing a deep clean, something I had learned to do regularly since I started my transformation. "Sarah, look what I found at the back of the closet," my sister exclaimed, holding a dusty folder. My heart stopped. It was my old art school portfolio, which I had abandoned in my second year when the bills piled up. "Wow, I forgot how well you used to draw." She flipped through the yellowed pages. "Why did you stop?" "Life happened," I replied, picking up a drawing of a girl with a magical umbrella. "I needed a real job, remember?" That night, I couldn't sleep. I took a pencil and started drawing. The lines flowed naturally, as if my hand remembered something my mind had forgotten. The next day, during my break at work, my boss called me into his office. "Sarah, we want to promote you to project coordinator," he announced. "Your work over the past few months has been exceptional." I floated back to my desk. Rose hugged me tightly when I told her. "See? It's the universe responding," she whispered. "No, Rose. It's me responding to the universe," I corrected her, smiling. At home, inspired by the promotion, I posted some of my drawings on Instagram. I wasn't expecting anything, it was just for fun. 3 days later, I received a direct message. "Hi Sarah, I'm an editor at Bright Books. Your drawings are exactly what we're looking for our new children's collection. Can we talk?" I read the message 5 times. My hands were shaking. Is this real? I asked myself out loud. The online meeting was surreal. They wanted me to illustrate not 1, but 3 children's books. "Your style has soul," said the editor. "It's exactly what kids need today." That night, I sat with my blue notebook, the same one where I started my scripting months ago. I flipped through the old pages and found something I had written. "I do what I love and am well compensated for it." "You manifested that," my sister said, hugging me from behind. "Didn't you?" "No," I replied, tears in my eyes. I allowed myself to be who I always was. The money, it just followed naturally. I picked up a pencil and started drawing in the notebook, a girl holding a blue notebook, surrounded by golden butterflies. It was me, finally free, finally myself. Today, I wake up in my new reality. My workspace has a view of the garden, and the morning sun illuminates my scattered drawings. The first royalty check arrived yesterday, more than I made in an entire month at my old job. My sister walks into the office with 2 cups of coffee. "I still can't believe it," she says, sitting down next to me. Remember when you used to cry every night looking at the bills? I take my phone and open the front camera. What are you doing? She asks. Something I promised myself I would do when I got here, I reply, adjusting the angle. Hi, my name is Sarah, I start recording. 6 months ago, I was drowning in debt and hopeless. Today, I want to share something with you. I tell my story, the blue notebook, the scripting mornings, the small changes, the reconnection with my art. You know what I discovered? I continue, showing my drawings to the camera. Money wasn't the problem. The problem was that I didn't believe I deserved better. I was afraid to try, afraid to fail. Rose, my work friend, messaged me, I saw your video. I started my own notebook today. That night, sitting in my favorite corner, I opened the blue notebook one last time. Its pages are worn, some stained with coffee, others with tears. What would you say to someone who is where you were? My sister asks, watching me. I would say that change is like drawing, I reply, making a quick sketch. It starts with a simple line, then another, and another. Some lines come out crooked, others perfect. But in the end, it forms a complete picture. I look at the camera one last time, you, who are watching this now. Yes, you. I know it seems impossible. I know it hurts. But you deserve more. You deserve to try. You deserve to believe. Change doesn't happen overnight. It's like a seed, you plant it, water it every day, and sometimes it seems like nothing is happening. But underground, the roots are growing. And one day, when you least expect it, you see the first leaf sprouting. I close the blue notebook, now retired. On my desk, a new notebook awaits me, red this time. Because this journey? It's just the beginning. If I could do it, why couldn't you? I whisper to the camera. The universe is waiting for your manifestation. The blank page of your life is in front of you. What will you write on it? If you enjoyed Sarah's story and felt that it inspired you in some way, leave a like to support the channel. Share in the comments what you thought and how the law of attraction can change your life as well. Don't forget to subscribe for more amazing stories like this and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support makes all the difference.